So Doug was really big about watching a horse walk. So if we went to a sale, he would have the owner or the agent, walk the horse up and back in front of him, or walk in a circle, or all kinds of things. Not only was he was obviously looking to see if the horse's legs are kind of straight and how they track. Their front legs hitting the ground straight, or are they toed in or toed out? Their back legs, are they toed out with their hind feet and cowhocked, or are they toe in like this? So you could tell a lot about how they walked. Does their hock wobble? He hated that. When a horse walks and hits the ground, if their back hock would kind of wobble, that's a sign of weakness there. Doug loved it. There was a direct correlation between, in the reining world in cow horse and cutting, we want quarter horses that have got a big stop, a natural drag their ass on the ground, big stop. For 50 years, we've been breeding that stop into these horses, kind of like border collies are bred to walk sheep or walk cattle. Well, these quarter horses now are bred to stop and walk the way we want them to walk. Not all of them do it, of course, but they're bred to do it. But one correlation that he always said to me that was very accurate if your horse is going to be a big stopper, because obviously if you're buying a yearling, you haven't even ridden it. You have never saddled it. So you're trying to predict what it's going to ride like. One of the big signs that he told me is that they walk really wide behind. When they're walking, their hind feet are really wide behind. And he always used to describe it. He said, it's almost like they're walking like they got a corn cob shoved up their ass. Well, I like to describe it, like when a horse is walking and it's going to go poop. Okay, lifts its tail up. If you keep the horse walking, as it's pooping, it's like it gets wider with its back end. That's kind of how you want them to walk naturally, kind of real wide behind. And I always struggled kind of understanding that, or what the look was. Doug would say, did you see the way that horse is walking? That's a really good walk. And I'm like, fuck, I really didn't see it that well. But then what he started doing when we go to sales, he'd point out the opposite. Like one time he said to me, okay, see that horse there? Look at the way it's walking. It was taking these little bitty tiny steps with its back legs when it walked. The back legs are really close together, and it did this, tick, 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 tick. He said, that horse will never stop in a million years. It'll never drag its ass. It'll never be a performance horse. And he said, do you see the difference between this walk and this walk? And I was like, ding, the light went on for me. So then I told Doug, I said, here's what I want you to do. Instead of pointing out the right conformation you want me to be aware of, start pointing out horses with really shitty conformation. Because that seems to make more, relate to me more. I can understand that better. So that's what he started doing. So all the big stopping horses I ever had in my career, Titan and so forth, big stopping horses, Bree, the buckskin mare, they would just walk real powerful behind like that. And all the horses that I couldn't get to stop very well, every horse is capable of stopping forward motion. We're not talking about stopping forward motion. We're talking about dragging their ass on the ground and beating the world's best horses. They all had a wide walk behind. They were strong. They had a big base to them. They weren't like these little fucking... Okay, perfect example, a Pasifino. I actually like Pasifinos, crazy little fucking crackheads they are, but I kind of like Pasifino horses, okay? Not that I'm going to buy one, but I think they're athletic and they're smart horses, okay? But tick, 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 look at the way they get around. When was the last time you ever saw a Pasifino gallop down the arena and fucking drag its ass and slide 20 feet across the ground? They're like these little wind-up dolls. Tick, 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 tick. Complete opposite of what you want a horse to stride down there and go, just grab the ground and try to break a hind leg off in the ground. So the way a horse walked, you can tell a lot about how they're going to stop off the way they walk.